Welcome back to another episode of Surprise Mama,
where we talk about the shit they don't tell you.
Welcome to Surprise Mama,
where we talk about the shit they don't tell you.
Yeah.
I'm Molly.
I'm Ashley.
Ashley, what are we talking about tonight?
Okay. So tonight we're going to be talking about birth control. And the reason we're talking about this is because, well, one, I just have like a really good story about my birth control experience, but also because when you are pregnant, you have potentially come off birth control. So you probably were on birth control before you got pregnant. And then after you're done, being pregnant, after you've given birth, you may go back on it.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a very common experience. And there are some, just things we can talk about when it comes to coming off birth control and then going back on birth control.
Yeah.
Before and after. So.
Yeah, and I also think that the experience of what birth control you use before and potentially after a pregnancy is different for each person.
Oh, 100%. Because everybody responds to it very differently.
Mm-hmm.
And there are several different types of birth control.
Oh, yeah.
So there are, different types within the subgroup. So
yeah, there's categories and there's like subgroups
too. So
a
few of the categories are barrier. So more just like condoms, diaphragms, those sort of things, which is still considered birth control.
I think those are more outdated. Well, not condoms. Condoms are
very much still used.
Yes,
widespread. Yes,
but and like everyone uses a condom at some point. Everyone experiences them at some point. But like diaphragms and things like that, like the barriers, those are more. I feel like those are more dated.
They are.
Like not as many people. I've never known anyone that used them, but I'm sure that they're still utilized in some fashion. I don't know.
I don't either. But I just know they're out there.
Yeah, they're still like on the CDC's website.
Right. 100. Yeah.
That's what I looked up. I looked up some stuff and I was like, oh, yeah. Feels very 1950s, but like whatever.
Yeah. Other is like sterilization. So vasectomy, getting your tubes tied, tubes removed. Again, those are the more permanent forms of birth control.
Mm-hmm.
So, typically
those are not reversible.
Yeah.
Although I've heard of vasectomy can be, but I don't think it's guaranteed that you would have results having children.
Right. Like I think it technically is reversible, but it's not like
technically.
It doesn't work all the time.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is one I know some friends who had done this, family planning. So basically tracking your cycle, tracking your ovulation, that sort of thing. But I was reading that this method is about 78 to 80% effective. So it has more of a failure than other methods.
So essentially tracking your ovulation.
Yeah.
I mean,
or like the pull-out method. That would be a part of family planning too.
Yeah, it's not foolproof.
No. And like
pull-out is like
no,
I'm like, wait, sorry, I'm like getting too detailed here, but I'm like, guys, it's impressive.
I know.
If you're doing that and it's working,
like literally I'm impressed.
You deserve a medal.
Right.
Or your partner does. Or someone in that mix deserves a medal.
Right.
Because that shit ain't easy.
Well, also for either. But I will say that I know some families who have tried this and they are now families. So
it results in families.
Yeah.
So that type of family planning results in planning a family.
Right.
Yeah.
But I do think that tracking your cycle and tracking ovulation can really work for people, especially if you are pretty regular.
Yeah, and that is how I got pregnant. Is I specifically tracked my ovulation.
Right.
And so but again, you have to really know a lot about how ovulation works.
Right.
To not get pregnant.
Right.
If you are using it for the opposite.
Yeah.
And you're using it as birth control, to track. I think it's more involved.
Yeah. Well, and I've never been regular. And so I just would never, it would not work for me.
Oh, okay.
It just would not work.
I think, I was pretty regular.
Right.
So you would have to be.
Yeah. Okay, so then like I think the biggest form of birth control is the hormonal or the typical the pill, IUD, any sort of, reversible sort of birth control.
Yeah.
And those, so like the IUD or Nexplanon, which is like the arm birth control, which that's what I had, and we'll go into that. Those are about 99.9% effective because you can't really mess them up,
If they don't get lost in your arm.
which can happen.
Everyone I've known who's had the
Arm one,
the arm
Nexplanon,
one,
yeah.
has not gone well.
Well,
So like if it's gone well for you, raise your hand.
I know,
and
like-
let us know. But like I don't know a single woman
okay,
who
we'll get into that. I had
I'm
one
just
success with it.
one success.
Okay, but then no, like personally.
Okay.
And then but like the pill or like there's a shot I think you can get, or like there's I don't think I've ever
I
saw-
was reading about that. I was like, there are shots?
yeah, but those aren't,
I didn't know that.
they technically are 99.9% effective, but there's a lot more human error. And so
So your birth control is in the hands of the person
Of
delivering
you.
the shot.
well, just you have to do it. Like you have to go get it, or you
Oh,
right, or it's
I
like
can't imagine having to give
Either.
myself a shot.
or it's like just think about the pill. You have to take a pill every single day.
Yeah,
There's-
but that's not a needle.
No, I
You
know,
what
but
I'm
like the
saying?
whole idea of these are more bound to be human error filled.
Oh,
for
100% the
be-
pill.
Like I know two friends who got pregnant on the pill, and they swear they were taking it, and I'm like, I'm sure they were.
No, that's sometimes true.
But again, human error is more likely to happen with the pill rather than like the IUD or something, because the IUD is in you. You can't like mess that up.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard of it coming out.
I know there's
Sort
always
of.
horror
There
stories
is.
about everything.
There's always like it's not. Here's the thing. I think we just have to say this. Any birth control is not 100% effective.
Right.
I think they say the IUD is like 98.9%
Or-
effective or 99.9.
Nine, yeah.
And it's like, but you cannot say that
They
it is
have to-
100% effective because it's not. Like there's always something that can
They have to
happen.
leave like just a little bit. They just have to be like, it's not 100. Because my friend was telling me that she had a friend who pooped out her IUD.
Excuse me?
I know, like pushed it out.
Who put that in?
I don't know.
Well, they did not do a
But
good job.
I do know my OB did tell me that like I love using the Diva cup for my period. It's just
Oh,
it
me
saves
too.
money. It's amazing. But you
Recommend
cannot use it with an IUD.
Oh, I used it when I had an IUD.
They tell you should not use it with an IUD because it can suction it out. It gets tight up there.
Oh.
Yeah. Well,
I didn't
I
know
mean, it
that.
works for you. That's
And
great.
it didn't suck out my
Okay,
IUD,
that's
but-
amazing.
Yeah, wow. Sorry, I'm actually in shock because I did not know that.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the first time I've heard that.
Well, okay, good that you know now. I'm sure it's good. It's not okay. It's not like guaranteed it would happen, but I can see why that. Like the Diva cup has a lot of suction to it.
But there's different cup types with different shapes too. So
What's the
depending
true?
on like the
And I guess how you break.
honestly
yeah.
like you kind of have to play around with them because like some people's cervix are like kind of shaped a little
That is
differently.
true.
So like a very narrow cup or like a wide cup may work better for one person.
That is
than-
true.
than it does for the other. You know.
It's not a product like placement, but we really do like the Diva cup. Look into it.
I like the Diva cup. There's
other brands out there now.
I don't
too.
actually use Diva cup.
Like
I
the
use some
brand.
brand. I don't even know what brand it is. I got it like at the grocery
They're
store.
amazing.
Like they're great, especially if you're like backpacking or something. Like I've
100%.
literally worn them backpacking,
Well, and
And
it
I'm
saves
like-
you so much money because you're not buying all these tampons all the
and
time.
you're not throwing them in landfills.
I do feel good about that too. I'm like, I saved a lot. I know.
Although I will say, like when you're in like a public restroom or
Okay.
you're at work, it's like a blocking mess.
Okay.
And you're like,
I never changed it in public. I always waited till I got home. Always.
I think there's only been like one time that I had to do it. I know it was like this is literally a nightmare. But
It does look like a murder. It's like terrible. But
so bad.
it's great.
Yeah, but like we literally highly recommend it. So anyways, okay. Anyways, so
Birth control.
okay, were we talking about do we have anything else to say about like the types or
No. Okay,
Okay.
but those are like the quick overview of the different types of Okay, birth control.
What are like the percentages of use for certain
Okay.
kinds? Like, do we know that?
A little bit. Like this, I did look up at the CDC. So about 14% of women from the ages of 15 to 49 use the pill.
Mm.
And then 10.5% use like an IUD or like a longer term reversible contraceptive. I know. I thought it would be reverse. I thought because
Yeah.
like the longer term ones, I feel like are becoming a lot more popular because they're longer term. You can leave them in for 3 to 5 to 10 years. I don't know. So like those, in my opinion, are a lot easier to manage than the pill. But
Well, I feel like, okay, so for the first stat, you said it was like ages 15 through 49.
yeah,
Okay. If we're talking about the pill,
right.
you're talking about a 15-year-old
Yeah.
who's included in that range, that statistical range. So
Yeah.
it's like a high schooler. Like if my daughter was in high school, which she will be someday.
At some
God
point, well,
willing.
yeah.
I'm not gonna be like, yeah, let's take you to the doctor and get an IUD inserted in you. I don't feel like that's appropriate. I'm like, if she needed to be on some type of birth control, most parents, most doctors, I think with teenagers opt for something like the pill.
And the pill, yeah. And
Right.
it's like, because it is like,
But I don't know. I've never heard of a teenager having
Well-
an IUD. But like, maybe it's possible. I just don't know.
well, when
I'm
we
ignorant
when
here.
we were in high school,
I don't know.
I knew about like the pill but I did not know about like an IUD. I don't even know.
Well, I don't even know if it's ethical. Like, will doctors even
I'm
like?
sure. I just don't think they were as popular when we were in high school. Like the IUD was not like a thing.
It wasn't like as popular now.
Yeah.
But by the time I was in college,
Right.
totally mainstream.
100%. And again, I think there's a lot of pros and cons to these.
There sure is.
Okay, so that's what we want to talk about.
Okay.
What? Because we were both on birth control before having our children.
Yeah. I think we've both been on different types.
Right. So what were you on before getting pregnant?
Okay. When I first started out on the pill.
Okay.
I was on the pill. And I did not like it. I was like kind of crazy. I was like one of those classic stories that like raging hormones when I was on the pill. Like it made me so angry. It was weird.
Like when you were PMSing or just like all the time?
All the
Oh,
time.
okay, that's not great.
Like it wasn't good.
Right.
It did not go well. And I was
Right.
on like the lowest possible dose.
Interesting.
And as soon as I stopped taking it, I was like, oh, I feel
Like
normal
night and
again.
day.
No, I'm not even kidding. Within like 2 days, I was like, oh, I feel like way better. So I was on the pill for a while,
Mm-hmm.
a couple years or something like that. And then I went on on the copper IUD. And I had the copper IUD for a long time. The copper IUD can last, I think, don't quote me on this because I haven't had it for a little bit, but like up to 10 years.
I think
It's
is
the longest standing,
Right.
like reversible
Right.
IUD method.
Mhm.
Okay. But yeah, I obviously got that taken out before.
So is that what you got taken out before getting pregnant? Was the copper?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So those are the two forms that I've had.
Okay.
Those are the only ones I've had. And the reason I did not get hormonal is not only due to my experience of the pill,
Mm-hmm.
but there is like cancer history in my family.
Okay.
And so I just wanted to be more on the safer side,
Right.
and say, you know what, I would prefer to avoid putting additional hormones into my body for XYZ personal reasons.
Right. 100%.
Which I don't think I need to get into here, but like, yeah. So for personal choice, health history,
Mhm.
family history, that kind of thing, I opted for the copper IUD, which like worked. I didn't love it. There are things that I liked about it, things that I didn't like about it.
Because even though it wasn't hormonal, you still felt like there were like downsides to it.
So I would say the downside to it was like, the upside, obviously no hormones.
Right,
Awesome.
right.
Right. You're technically on your natural cycle.
Right.
You're still going to have your cycle. You're still going to menstruate. But I felt that it intensified my periods so greatly.
Oh.
I don't know what it is, but like, I mean, IUDs create an environment that's like,
What did you say before we started filming?
a hostile environment.
A hostile environment.
I said, IUDs create a hostile environment, Ashley. And she started laughing at me, and I was like, what? That's like, what is this?
It's just like such a funny way. Like I totally.
It's like Drew. It's
I-
like, they're like, boom, boom, boom.
I love the description a lot. Actually, I think it's great.
It's like punching all that sperm away,
Right.
you know?
Like literally like building like a little like army down there.
Yeah, man, it's like a boxing club down there. They're just like kickboxing all over.
Get outta
Get
here.
out of here. You don't belong here. But anyways, so hostile environment
Yeah, hostile environment.
was happening in my body for sure.
Okay.
But I also think that like potentially maybe it just creates more scar tissue. Maybe my body in particular
Yeah.
was just more reactive to the copper.
Okay.
I mean, like every device has its pros and cons.
Right. 100%.
I mean, I will say prior to giving birth, like when I got the IUD inserted, they contract your cervix to place an IUD in your body. And I felt like someone had shot me in the face. Like I literally like was silently weeping on the table. And I thought I was going to throw up. I know people that
I have
thrown
known people who have passed out, thrown up, had
And so from that, all I have to say is that if you're like ever gonna get an IUD, I'm not trying to scare you away from it because everyone has like different pain tolerance, etc.
right.
I consider myself to be someone who has like a pretty high pain tolerance or threshold, but I wasn't prepared for like that it was going to be intense.
Yeah.
Okay. So they contract your cervix. It's very, very intense.
No.
And if you've never had an actual contraction in your cervix, you're just not ready for it.
Yeah.
But if you're going to do it, just know, okay, this is going to be really intense and don't go to work that day. Just like do it on a day, like
Make it
do
a
it
chill
later.
day.
Yeah. Like just relax. Like, and have someone drive you home.
That's
Like,
what. Yeah. That's
You
what
know,
heard.
I just did all of it wrong.
well, also
I
I
thought I
think
was going to go back to work.
Mhm.
I literally called up. I was like,
I think also people are just more aware of that nowadays. And
but
they
no one
used to be.
talked
I
about
know.
it before. And so I went
It's
and I
a-
was like,
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 what?
it was bad.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But it was pretty easy getting out when you got it out.
it was actually scary
Oh.
how easy it came out. She
Oh,
just
good.
went boop,
And you're like, that
and I
could have
was like-
happened?
and it was like it's like this big. Okay, it's literally so small, and I was like, how is
I wonder-
that the thing creating a hostile environment?
I wonder if your like use of your diva cup or whatever just slowly like was pulling it down and she was just like, whoop, let me just take that out for you.
No, she said it was like in place, but like I don't know. I also wonder if like maybe. Anyways, there's some things I have to talk about, but off air.
Okay,
Off
I
air.
love that.
Yeah, sorry.
Um,
Okay. Anyways, Ashley,
so-
what
okay,
forms of
But it was, I'm just, because I have the IUD right now, so it was pretty
Okay.
easy getting out.
Yeah, it was not painful at all.
Okay.
I was expecting it to be like just as bad as the insertion, but like
Right.
not
Okay.
at all. It was like maybe there was a pinch, but I was just shocked at how little.
Easily.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
But you kind of get to a point as a female, I guess, where you're just like, you've been so invaded down
Yeah.
there that like, and especially if you've had a child, you're gonna be like, whatever, man.
Like just like a little,
like a little scrape.
and like, oh, typically your OB is like really great. Like they're just kind of like, okay, I'm just gonna go in there and get it real quick. No big deal.
They know what they're doing. They do it all
Yeah.
the time. So yeah. Okay, so what forms of birth control have you been on, Ashley?
Okay,
Your journey is it's like Candyland. We're all over the map here.
I know I am. So I had Nexplanon. That's like the one I was on before I got pregnant, which is the arm one. It's like,
Okay, I didn't realize you were like on it long term.
yeah. So before I got married, I got Nexplanon. It's probably like this big. It's like really thin.
It's like a little bar.
It's like a little matchstick. Like it's literally like the same size like of a matchstick.
Yeah.
So I got that before I got married, and it lasts for 3 years. So the first one I got, loved it. It was great.
Oh, okay.
And after the 3 years, I got it removed. Very easy. And the reason I went with Nexplanon over like the pill is because there's no way I am remembering a pill every single day. Like there is just no way in my life. And then I didn't want an IUD at the time because I wanted to know it was still there. And with Nexplanon, you can still like feel it.
I've had
Yeah.
I felt it.
Right. And
My
like
friends are.
it would like freak my sister out. She's like, stop playing with it. I would like just play with it.
So weird.
But anyway, so I got that removed.
It's creepy. It's like a chip. It's like a chip.
It kind of is a little bit.
They're tracking you. I'm just kidding.
They're like, oh,
She went to Target again. Give her some hormones. Just kidding. You're like, Deb, I bought $300 worth of things.
like nothing else.
Target is partnered with. Anyways, okay.
Okay, so I got that removed. Great. But I got another one because we still weren't ready to have kids yet. So my GYN put it in, and it was fine. She put it in. It was whatever. I couldn't feel it as close to my skin as my other one, but I was like, it's fine, whatever. I hated this one though. For some reason, it was like way worse the second time. I was having my period every other week. In like a full-fledged period. It wasn't just like light one. It was literally like a full-fledged period.
That's like a curse.
I know. It was horrible.
I mean, a curse on a curse.
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's not okay.
I know. So
Why does this stuff happen to you?
I don't know.
Like,
Anyway, so this probably happened for like a year and a half. And finally,
a year and a half?
I
You had
know.
a period for a year and a half?
yeah.
Like, essentially? I'm
So then
so
I
sorry.
went to my husband and I were like, okay, well, this was like probably June, I think. We were like, okay, we want to start maybe trying for a kid in October, November. So I was like, oh, I'm just going to get my birth control out now because I cannot handle having a period every other week. So I went to my OB to go get it taken out. And she was like, I can't find it. I was like, what do you mean you can't find it? She was like, I can't feel it. She's like, okay, I'm gonna numb your arm and I'm gonna cut into. What they have to do is they have to like cut into it and pull it out. So she's like, I'm gonna cut into it and like see if I can find it. She was rooting around. I couldn't feel it. It was numb. She's like, I cannot find it. And I was like, are you kidding me? She's like, she was like, we're gonna have to have a surgery to remove it. She's like, I have been doing this for 25 years and this is the first time it's happened to me. She's like, this has never happened to any of my other patients. So anyway, so I had to like go get an x-ray and they could see it on the x-ray.
How deep was it in your arm?
Well, they couldn't tell with an x-ray. So anyway, so I had
Did they opt to pay for your x-ray?
no, I had to pay for all of it.
It's bullshit.
So with my OB, she did the surgery to get it removed. And I went to this like, place. Outpatient, yeah. And I remember I was like, she's not going to be able to find it. I was just like convinced she was not going to be able to find it. So anyways, like I had to go under anesthesia, which I was like, this is so stupid. I asked if I could not. And she was like,
so intense.
I know, it's whatever. So I did that. And then I was in the like recovery when you're waking up from your anesthesia. And I was coming out of the anesthesia and I heard nurses go, yeah, they couldn't find it. Like, we're like, I knew it. They were like whispering to each other, like, yeah, they looked for it, but yeah, they couldn't find it.
You went under for no reason?
Yes. What happened after that? So I woke up and my OB was like, I could not find it.
So where was
I
it?
don't know.
In your arm?
Well, because
I'm sorry. I'm like,
eventually, obviously. She was like, you have to have a plastic surgeon find it. So I had to go to OSU, which is like a bigger hospital.
Ohio State, baby.
And I had to get like another scan done, which they could tell a little bit better how deep it was.
They're like, CAT scan.
Oh, God, I don't even know.
CAT scan your arm.
The MRI, why not? Just throw it in there. And I had to go to another outpatient place. I also had to like take time to work to do this.
Racking up hospital bills.
Oh my God, it was so annoying. And then this is what got me. I remember this today. I went to this like outpatient OSU place, and like they were prepping me for the surgery, and they were like, "Yeah, you need to take a you need to take a pregnancy test." And I looked at the guy and I said, "I'm here to get my birth control removed." And they had already asked me, "When was your last period?" And I had said, it just ended. Healthcare, love it. I did it. I was just like, anyways, it was so ridiculous.
I'm in finance, so I don't know. We're both in finance.
I know nothing. I was just like so frustrated. Anyways,
Yuck.
so
That's just yucky.
I know.
I feel gross. That makes me mad.
They got me prepped, and like prior to the surgery, I was looking up like what could go wrong. Why would
No. I've done the same. I would have done the same.
Deb,
Sorry.
Deb was like, stop looking that up. I'm like, Deb, they could tear, like they could mess up my tendon and I could not use my arm anymore. I'm like, I was like really extreme. And he was like, you have got to stop looking this up. And I was like, okay, fine. So anyways,
But you knew.
but I
Yeah.
knew.
You're like, I'm not going to be able to use my arm.
I
when
was like,
come out of the surgery.
Okay, so then they prepped me. I had the surgery. They did get it out.
So this plastic surgeon
Yes.
removed your...
Yes, because it was so like, it's like so, just like the tendons and the muscle and everything is just so like delicate. They had to get somebody.
It makes sense that they would have
Yeah.
a plastic surgeon do that because they're used to doing stuff.
I was like, can you do my nose while he's in there? But fine. And then when I was coming out of this anesthesia, I like could not move my left arm.
Were you like, it's gone?
Yes, I was like,
it's done.
they cut the
probably
tendon.
just
They cut
dumbed
the
it off.
tendon. And I was like, Ashley, you're fine. I was freaking out. And of course, like a minute later, I could move my arm. Like the nurse sitting with me was cracking up. He was like, you're fine.
That's amazing.
I know. So all in all,
So are you going to get that again?
never again. My OB felt so bad.
Yeah, that's a real failure. I mean, I'm sure she's great, but like,
It was 50-50 her fault and my fault. Like she put it in a little bit deeper than she should have. But the other problem that compounded it is that I had started like lifting some. And so it pushed it.
oh, well, that's not your fault.
No.
I think that's an application problem.
Right. So it like
You know what I'm saying?
it had traveled, I want to say like 2 inches.
That should be accounted for
I
in like
know.
the procedure to
I
put that
agree.
in your arm.
Yeah.
That is no.
So
No, that's not 50-50.
she-
I'm not shitting on your OB.
No,
I'm
no,
just
I
saying
know
that's
but no.
not
saying,
at all
but what I'm
your
saying
fault.
is like I made it worse because of just living the way that I lived my life.
Oh, living your life,
Yeah.
being healthy.
But she told me, because she called me like a week later just to follow up, just to see how I was doing and stuff. And
she was probably like, oh God.
I know. And she was like, this volleyball player came in and asked if she should get the next one on. And I told her no.
That's right. That's
She's
right.
like, I was going forward, like, I'm probably going to recommend women who are like,
who are fit
yeah, like just to not get it.
or like athletic or like
Yeah.
in some type of
Yeah.
way, shape, or form.
Yeah. So 2
Maybe
surgeries to get it removed.
Oh my God. And now you have an IUD.
And now I have an IUD.
Which IUD do you have?
A Mirena?
Okay, yeah,
No, yeah.
Is that the localized hormones?
I think so.
'Cause
I think
there's-
so, yeah.
Because there's different types of IUDs. There's like the copper, which is non-hormonal.
Yeah.
There's the Mirena, which I believe is the localized
It might be.
hormone, which means it's not streaming through your
Right.
whole body. And then whatever the other ones are, I think
Right.
those are like
There's a few other.
those are like full
Yeah,
on.
because the other thing we want to talk about was what we did after we gave birth. So I did go on the IUD because again, I'm not trying to do the pill.
Yeah.
Just never would survive that. Obviously, I'm not doing the next one on again because that
Whatever not.
was a horror
Yeah.
show.
Mhm.
So with the IUD, and here's what I will say: you said that it was super painful to get in, and it was like horrible.
Well, that was because I hadn't had a kid yet.
Right. So I got it 10 or 12 weeks after I gave birth,
Good for you.
and it was fine.
Yeah.
Because your cervix is so soft, and so it's easy to put in there. Like it's not gonna do what.
That's
yeah.
the move. That's
So
the move right
my
there.
recommendation, because I was so prepared for it to be like
the worst.
yeah, because I had heard stories, and so I was really surprised that literally nothing.
You were still in postpartum.
Right.
And so it makes sense. Like
Right.
the softened cervix, all that, it played to your advantage.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you got that in like 10 to 12 weeks after,
Yeah.
and you've just had it since.
Yeah, and I really like it.
Yeah. Do you still get your cycle?
I definitely PMS and have like a cycle, but I don't really like like have anything.
You don't like bleed.
No.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
Like I spot a little bit.
Okay.
I maybe like have to use a tampon for like 3 hours one day.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not like, for me, it has been great. Like, and I don't really feel like it's affected me hormonally
That's
in
good.
the sense of like feeling crazy or anything. So for me, I really like it. I know some women have a really hard time with it, like you said. Like
with
we've known,
hormones.
yeah, like
Yeah.
because you didn't get the hormonal one, and mine is.
Yeah.
And I've had like friends who have or did have the one that I have and then got off of it because they felt like it was really affecting them. So
I think different people, just like genetically, I think
Right.
whatever your predisposition is, it's like you're just gonna interact with hormones differently.
Right.
Like, I don't know, everyone just has a different response.
Right.
Yeah. So, you know, your body, it's like you kind of just have to wade through
Mhm.
the tall grass of,
Right.
you know, birth control. There's so many options. I mean, there's so many options, but really I think there's like 3 or 4 options.
Right. Like
There's like the pill, there's the arm thing, whatever that's called. What is that called?
next going on.
Yeah. And there's IUDs. In my opinion, those are the options.
There's other
Like
like
condoms. I'm saying like for like
I mean like there's like
device or like
Right.
I don't know. I guess yeah, there's the oral like with the pill, but I mean you can do family planning, you can do
Right.
condoms, that kind of thing.
Right.
But yeah,
'Cause-
as far as what women do,
Right,
with
they're-
interacting
yeah.
with our body, you know, directly, it's like I don't know.
Right. And what have you done after baby?
I still have not returned to
Have not returned to
oral birth control. Yeah, I haven't. There's many reasons for that. Like long story short, highlights are that my recovery was so lengthy. And even my OB at the time was like, no, like
Yeah.
it is not
Right.
time or appropriate like physically for you to think about inserting an IUD. And I was like, thank you.
Okay.
But also I have had a longer like breastfeeding journey than I had kind of expected. You just don't know. My daughter, like I'm still breastfeeding her. But I chose to not pursue birth control because it really can affect your supply.
I forgot about that.
Depending on what you do, because I also like didn't know what I wanted to do. I had considered like, do I want to do something that's like localized hormones with like Mirena or whatever. But honestly, like if I go back on an IUD, I'm probably just gonna go back on the copper and kind of deal with it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I hate that I just said that. It makes me.
It's like annoying.
It's so annoying. I kind of want to get on my soapbox for a minute and be like, if there were birth control for men, well, actually, there probably is.
Oh, but they don't like the testing showed that the men didn't like the side effects of it. So
Yeah, I can't speak about it right now because I just it's so unfair.
I know.
It's so unfair. But yeah, I haven't gone back on birth control.
Right.
Just because of recovery, and I'm still breastfeeding, and I just wanted to protect my supply.
Yeah.
And I'm like kind of switching healthcare plans. There's just like all these moving parts to like my postpartum and when it comes to birth control. But right now I'm okay. I love not being on birth control. I mean, who doesn't? But like, yeah, I still have to figure it out.
Yeah. It's like there's no rush either. I mean, depending on your situation, it's not like
Well, what's funny is like before giving birth, I was like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna like go back on the IUD like probably 6-8 weeks, like right after I'm done like healing, whenever it's makes sense. But it was like, oh nope.
You're like, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, my doctor was like hostile.
Like she's like, it's already pretty hostile in there.
Like
So
it's already like, yeah, there's already a fight going on. So
I'm not gonna add another layer to it yet.
No, literally, yeah. But
No problem.
yeah, it was.
I'm okay now. It's less hostile now.
Yeah, you know.
See,
now I'm just a milk factory.
There you go.
Fine.
It's one or the other.
Yeah.
See, I'm excited because I think this year I'm planning to get my tubes removed. So
Holy
I know,
cow.
I'm excited about it.
I didn't know that.
I'll share about it on here.
Dang.
And I do that.
All right.
And I'm very excited about it. I'll be on the more of the permanent birth control train.
Yeah, I don't think that you'll be able to use the sentence if we have another child
No.
anymore.
No, I never have.
Yeah. Well, you kind of. You're like,
I bet-
maybe if we were ever having another kid, but it's kind of like,
It's always been a hypothetical, like this is how we would do something if we had another kid, but
gotcha.
it's not like we want to have another
You're
kid.
not considering it. Yeah.
Oh no, not at all.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I might as well get those suckers out of me. Then I wouldn't have to be on birth control anymore.
Oh.
So, and yes, my husband could get a vasectomy, but I would rather get my tubes removed.
Isn't it is getting your tubes removed, is that more effective?
I mean,
like-
the reason I want to do it is because it's just like lowers cancer risk. Because you're just getting a body part removed.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am that.
So I'm like, if one of us is, he can, I mean, if he wants to get a vasectomy, more power to him, but I'm still going to get my tubes removed. So and it's still covered by insurance. At least most insurances cover it.
Do they look at it as like preventative care? Oh.
They look at it like, I mean, if you think about it, it costs them a lot of money for a woman to have a baby. So having that not an option anymore.
Oh, it do.
And it reduces it for them. So
Yeah, it's all about them.
I know it is all about them.
Cheers.
Another topic, another day. Anyway,
Yeah. Okay, so birth control.
okay,
Nothing else.
Yeah, my final thing is I will not recommend one birth control over another because I really do think that it is each person.
Each his own.
Do not get the next one on them. That is the one thing I will
That is, like,
say.
the one opinion.
Right. Because I do know a few other women, I don't think they had it as severe as me when it came to like getting it removed, but I think there were like issues.
I haven't heard of a success story with it, but that doesn't mean there
My
aren't
first
any.
one was great, but
Right. So it's kind of like, but again, you know,
you never know.
you never know.
But if you want it or you have it and it's great and you love it, go for
Shout
it.
out.
Yeah.
You know, but
More power to you.
yeah. So
Personal experience. I do not recommend it.
yeah. But I feel like in the future, maybe we could do more discussion on this. I don't know. I feel like there's other caveats to this.
I mean, there's like so many
um
side caveats. And
oh yeah. But yeah.
thanks for listening to our rant about birth control and our little
Rant
opinions.
discussion.
Discussion.
Yeah, it's not rant.
We
Find us. Where can they?
Where can
Where
we
can
find us?
everyone
everyone can
tell
find
me
it.
where we can find us?
We can find us on Instagram and TikTok at Surprise Mama.
Yes.
And then also on Facebook. We started a Facebook group.
Yes, we started a discussion forum.
Yeah.
We would love to get more discussion going.
Yes.
So basically it's just an offshoot of the podcast.
Yeah.
We're just trying to create a place where like we can actually talk about stuff with other people.
And have people go there for advice, questions, really anything.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, get it going.
yep. Also email us at surprisemommapod@gmail.com. Questions, comments, suggestions, really anything.
Yep. Find us on YouTube. Find us on Spotify. Did you already say that?
I did not.
I was Apple Podcasts. Here we go.
Molly. That was so wonderful.
There you go.
That's amazing.
I'm not useless.
She isn't.
No.
Anyways, okay.
Cheers. Bye. Bye.